have two guest hosts today. And one of them just so happens to greatly dislike the other one. I'll give you one guess as to which one it is. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the NovelTea Knitting Podcast. I'm your host, Emma. I'm here to talk to you about all things knitting, crafty, basically anything cozy that takes my fancy. Today's tea of choice is just a basic rooibos. I actually kind of just threw this together because I very suddenly decided that I was in fact going to record today. I had decided if I had time today that I would record, and I technically have an hour until knitting club, which is what I will be doing as soon as I finish this recording. This is my Cool Days and Cozy Nights fall mug, which I am in love with. But yeah, like I said, it has rooibos in it. It is just Meyer brand rooibos, so it is extra plain, and it's definitely too hot for me to drink right now because I made this cup of tea like 2 minutes ago. That's why we keep water. Alright, so let's get straight into it. I do have a single finished object today, and that is my dad's Sockhead Slouch Hat. So I love this color. I think that he is going to love it. I think this is exactly what he wanted. The only thing that I'm a little bit worried about is I was getting sort of nervous towards the end because on my last Sockhead Slouch Hat, I think I made the slouch a bit too big. I think I made it too much on the back, and it just kind of gets in the way of the brim, actually, weirdly, and it kind of, like, bunches up weird at the back of my neck. Anyway, I just thought it was too much, and so I was going to make an effort to do a little bit less slouch this time, and then I just kind of forgot and just kept knitting until I got to, I think, like 55 rows of knitting, which is honestly, I think more than what I did on my own hat. It was around that, though. And so when I started doing the decreases, I was like, I do not know if 20 rows of decreases, which is normally how many it takes, I'm not sure if 20 rows of decreases is going to be too much. And so rather than doing a decrease where I would do one decrease round followed by 2 knit rows, and then another decrease, and on for the first several decreases. If you want to check out and see exactly how the decreases work, I highly, highly recommend this pattern. It is my go-to for knitting hats just in general. It's super easy, it's free. But yeah, so the decreases were a lot more rapid than what is usually recommended, but I don't know, the thing is that it looks great on me. I think that this is the exact right amount of, like, slouch on me. See, just like that. It's perfect. But my dad has a bigger head than I do. Probably there are infants that have bigger heads than I do. I have a very small head, very small ears, and so, like, something like this is absolutely perfect. For me, I'm just hoping that it fits my dad the way that he wants. He did say that he wanted a slouch hat just like what I made for my brother. And the thing is that the one that I made for my brother has a lot more slouch than this. So I'm sure he'll love it regardless. I just might end up having to make him another one. And I guess I could just take this out and redo the decreases. But honestly, I would rather knit an entirely another hat. I would rather just knit another hat rather than take this one out and redo the decreases, which doesn't really make sense because it would definitely be easier to do that, even though I would have to add more yarn. But for some reason, my brain, I just don't like taking things out if I don't absolutely have to. So that is one more thing that can get wrapped and can go under our tree when we go and get it on December 1st. I have been doing quite a bit of Christmas shopping, trying to get as much done as possible because we have a crazy busy schedule for December at this point. But speaking of December, I just want to remind you guys that I will be doing Vlogmas for December. That means that every day in the month of December up until Christmas, I will be posting a video. So the way that I do it, and everyone does it a little bit differently, I will be recording on December 1st and then posting what I've recorded from December 1st on December 2nd, all the way through until the 25th, so you will see my Christmas Eve, and it will be posted on Christmas Day, but you will not actually see my Christmas Day, which is just because that's a very personal, family-oriented day. I don't really want to record all of us in our pajamas, opening presents with, the bed head and everything. I don't think anyone would appreciate that. So speaking of gifts, I have officially cast on, or whatever the word is for what you do with cross stitch, the present that I am making for Tammy for Christmas this year, which is this big, huge, I say big, huge, I mean, it is huge in terms of cross stitch, because I've had to double this over just so that it can be the right size, but it's going to take up probably this whole bit of fabric, which I did buy at a cross stitch store. Shout out to my cross stitch store, which I'm pretty sure the name is Stitches and Things. If I am not correct, I will put it up what the correct name is on the screen here. I am pretty sure that it's Stitches and Things, but I have only been there twice, in fairness, so I don't think I'm expected to know the name exactly yet. Anyway, I went there and I purchased all of my supplies for this. It was only 2 colors of thread, but I did actually, even though I have some black thread already, I decided that I really needed to get some more. So I have some more of that. So in total, it is black, and then there is also gold, and it says, family is life's greatest blessing, because Tammy is really, really all about family. It's super important to her, to the point that she has made an extreme effort. I shouldn't say extreme, but she has put in a lot of effort to make sure that she and I have a good relationship, which means so much to me, so I want to make sure that I make her something really special. But just to give you an idea of just how huge this is going to be, this is one of 6 of these. And the ones that are on the bottom are a little bit smaller, so it's probably about this much on the bottom rather than, a whole page. But I have 3 full pages and 3 half pages. I have done the math. I know exactly how much I need to get done in what amount of time. I have, including today, and I have not touched it today, 4 more days to get this page done, and then I will have 5 days to get the other 2 larger pages done, and then 4 days each, I think, in order to get the bottom piece done. And that is assuming that I will not be able to do this at all when I am visiting them, because I'm assuming that I'm going to just be around Tim and Tammy the whole time I'm there, which is not necessarily true. We will probably, especially because I'm going to need to be editing and stuff, so I will almost definitely have at least some time to myself, but I don't want to have to rush through this, as if I'm not already rushing. I have already managed to significantly mess this up somehow. Not somehow, I know exactly how I messed it up, because I wanted to do this section here, from the very top, and I know that this is highlighted, I've got it done, but that's just because I was keeping track as I was doing it, rather than once I had finished, whatever section I was working on, and I ended up having to pull out all of this. So I got to about here, I think, and then I realized that I had miscounted the rows, and so I had to pull all of that out, which had taken me over an hour to do, and started over again. I have learned my lesson from that, which is that when it comes to cross stitch, it is better to work in small batches. So rather than, I think I had started somewhere around here, which was the middle, because that is typically how you're supposed to start. A cross stitch is in the middle. You find the middle of your fabric, you find the middle of your pattern, it's usually marked. My ring light really wants to make this impossible to see, but the little arrows here and up here meet together right there, which indicates where your middle is. So I started from that point. You can see that I have this marked in an orange highlighter. So anyway, I counted up to what I thought was 32 stitches. And then I did the entire thing while watching Ghostbusters with my husband, and I got way, way down. I had done basically the entire thing and realized that I was 2.5 rows off. So for those people that don't cross stitch, the way that I can be 2.5 rows off is because I'm using this fabric, which is not Aida. This pattern calls for Aida fabric in a size 14 stitch count, and this is a 28 stitch count. Now, I am only about, I think I'm fairly confident, so I'm about 90% positive that I am doing this right. 10% of me is thinking that I am supposed to stitch every single stitch rather than like skip one and do it. I don't know if you're going to be able to, there's no way you're going to be able to see, but the fabric is just a lot more tightly woven than Aida usually is. It gives it a little bit more leverage, or it gives you a little bit more of the ability to use like these darker black threads and it not show through on the front. So like if, for example, I had to like stretch it at any point, or like or if I carried the yarn over, if I carried the thread over, that would show through the back a lot more easily on Aida than it does on something like this, which I'm pretty sure is even weave, but I threw away the tag, and so I'm not positive. But again, this is from my local cross-stitch store. So I did all of that, and then rather than pulling out the small bit, the significantly less amount that I had done down here at my approximate middle of the fabric. Like, I didn't count the rows on the fabric to make sure that I was in the middle. I just kind of folded everything into quarters and then like found where the middle was on that quarter, and in that is where I started. And rather than getting rid of all of these and just moving them up, I got rid of the 1.5 hours of work rather than like the half an hour of work, which was just so... It was one of those things that like I realized after I'd already completely like destroyed this section, and it was just one of those sort of things that I just had to take a deep breath and move on, because I couldn't fix it. I was in it already, and I was just gonna have to deal with it. I would say that the thing that I am most concerned about with this pattern is the counting, just because this is my first time not using Aida. It is my first time having to do like every other hole or every other stitch rather than every single one, which is just a little bit more confusing. It's a little bit harder for me to count up. It's also just harder on my eyes, which I am convinced are getting worse. So we'll see how quickly I'm able to do this. It is going to be a hustle. I'm going to have to hustle for this, and it sucks that I have not done any of it today. I am going to work on this, or I'm going to try and work at this at Knitting Club tonight, I think. Very brief update for my Witchy Vibe socks, which apparently might not even be done by next Halloween with the pace that I'm doing these at. But as you might be able to notice, I have even less progress on these this time than I did on them in the last episode. So I had been doing them one by one. I had been doing a 1x1 rib when I first cast them on, because I just wasn't really thinking about it and I just did it. And then I realized that every single one of my socks that I have hand knit is a 2x2 rib, and I vastly prefer a 2x2 rib for a knitted sock, just because I feel like the stretch is better, the tension is better on it. And I don't know if this is going to affect the tension at all on this, because again, I'm doing it in color work, and I know that that is already kind of screwing up whatever tension I might be able to get from a ribbing. But we're going to give it a try and see what happens, but I did at least want to have the 2x2 rib, because I just really don't like the look of a 1x1 rib as much as I like a 2x2 rib. So there you go, very short update. And that is actually just about it for this episode, because I have not had time to work on my Schnee in the last 2 weeks. I was focusing on getting my dad's hat done because I wanted to make sure that was done in time for Christmas. And like I have said in previous episodes, I think I am just not making the Schnee a priority right now. Like, I really want to get it done, and I'm excited to have it as a sweater once it's finished, but I do not expect to get it finished this year. In fact, I have been, and I suppose this is kind of getting into like a life talk kind of section, so just come with me as we talk about what's going on in my life. But I have been absolutely craving a new cast on, something that's a little bit more complicated. I really, really, really want to cast on a new shawl. And I keep telling myself no because I have more than enough on the needles already. I even have, and I grabbed this and I didn't know why, but I found these socks that I completely forgot that I hadn't finished yet. So I need to finish those. I've got my Schnee sweater. I've got my patchwork pullover. I have plenty. I have plenty to work on right now, but I just really, really want to cast on a new pattern. Anything, honestly, anything that's at least got a little bit of complication to it, as long as that complication is not seed stitch or moss stitch, because I will tell you I've had absolutely enough of those. I have 2 sweaters on the needle currently that are doing one of those, and I'm over it. I'm just over it. But since we have moved into life stuff, I can give you a kind of an update on what's happening with my kitchen right now, because we have passed our plumbing inspection, we have passed our electrical inspection, we are just waiting for a building inspection, which happens tomorrow as I record this, which means that by the time this episode is going up, that will have happened already. Once we get the building permit, I don't really know what happens, because I don't know if Tuesday and Wednesday are enough time for my uncle to finish up the kitchen. I honestly have been working under the assumption that it's not, and so if he's not able to finish it, I would just as soon have him do nothing at all, because it's easier. I've already started cleaning. I just don't want to have to deal with all of the dust that is going to happen from whatever he does. But if he thinks that he can get it done by Wednesday, or not by Wednesday, if he thinks that he can get it done by Thursday, I will clean on Thursday morning. For those who maybe missed last week's episode or who are new to the channel, Michael and I are hosting Thanksgiving for the very first time this year. And I made these plans to host Thanksgiving with the assumption several months ago that our kitchen would be done by now. And it is so close. It is so, so close. We just need this building inspection to be done. And then we can finish. So it's very frustrating how long that this has taken. But I will let future Emma, who is editing this, update you guys on what ended up happening, whether or not we got it done in time for Thanksgiving. So here she is. Okay, hello. This is Editing Emma. And this is a much later date that I am recording this and also uploading this episode than I had anticipated. I had hoped to get it done on Friday after Thanksgiving, and that just straight up did not happen. It is the 30th, November 30th, as I am recording and hopefully uploading this finally. So that is, 4 days late, 3 days late, something in there. Anyway, obviously, because of that late date, I have some fairly significant updates for you. We did not get the kitchen finished in time for Thanksgiving, and now I fully understand why that happened. Hi, baby. You have to be in every bit, don't you? Yes, you do. I don't think you'll be able to hear it, but in the background, if you listen very, very closely, you can hear the sound of a vacuum, because my uncle is still here. We did get all of the drywall up in time for Thanksgiving, so at the very least, I ended up changing my mind in that I was grateful to have whatever work could be done before Thanksgiving done, even though it meant that I ended up having to do a ton of cleaning on Wednesday night. But having the drywall up meant just that we weren't getting any dust or debris or anything coming down from the rafters, which is very good. It's a very good thing. But I do have even more of an update than that, thankfully, in that we are pretty sure that we're going to be able to finish up on Wednesday, which is tomorrow as I'm recording this. And that is wonderful, wonderful news. Right now, the house is kind of a huge mess because apparently the process of putting up drywall and mudding involves a lot of like putting on the plaster or whatever and then sanding it down, and the sanding bit is very messy. So that's what's going on right now for us. It's nearly finished. I will hopefully be able to show you what our finished kitchen looks like for Vlogmas. So look forward to that. But yeah, back to the video. So that was either fantastic news, amazing news, or it was just what I've been expecting and what I've been preparing for. So, either way, it's fine. NaNoWriMo, the other big thing going on in my life right now, is going quite a bit more smoothly now. I have actually just kind of given up on one of my stories. Not completely given up, but I have found that writing, and this is probably going to be completely insane to some writers out there, but I have found that writing just the one story feels like too much pressure. And so I started a second one because I had the idea for this story already in my head, and so I was like, well, I'm really struggling writing this one, so I'm going to start another one. And now I'm just writing both of them kind of at the same time. So whenever I get to a point where I'm either stuck or I'm just not excited about what I'm writing in one of the stories, I will move on to the other one and I will just switch back and forth. And it has worked out really, really well. It has allowed me to take a step back from whatever story I'm struggling with and kind of just let those ideas marinate. And sometimes, like in the case of my most recent story, it has allowed me to actually get advice from other creators, which in this case was that it's okay to have like multiple versions of the same scene. NaNoWriMo is all about the word count. It does not matter if you actually finish a story. I mean, if that's your goal, that is absolutely fine, but it is also absolutely fine if you are writing 12 different things. If you write just a paragraph for something else, it doesn't matter. You just need to get to 50,000 words. And so I will write one scene, and I have found that sometimes if there's something in that scene that isn't working and I can't understand what isn't working, I will just move on to the other story, and then I will eventually either figure out how to make that scene work, or I will come up with a different idea for that scene, and that gives me a lot more flexibility, which has been great. One thing that I am very excited to show everybody in Vlogmas in December is all of the advent calendars that I've gotten, because I have so many. We are up to, I don't even know how many. So we've got one for the dogs, one each for the dogs. We've got one that the cats share because it's canned food, and so I like to give them each half of a can of food. So we have the one the cats share. Michael and I both have chocolate ones. That reminds me, actually, I need to get to the store because I'm going to, let me do this a bit more quietly. We're going to get some ASMR in here. The one that I am making for Michael is going to be a Lindor chocolate advent calendar, because it's definitely, first of all, better that Michael have something that's consumable, otherwise it just turns into clutter. But also, I know he absolutely loves Lindor, and last year I did a hot chocolate advent calendar, and that one just, we still have some of the hot chocolate from that one because it's just not one of those things that you drink constantly, whereas I know that he will eat a Lindor truffle every day if I give them to him. But I wasn't able to find a Lindor chocolate advent calendar that I liked, so I have decided that I'm just going to buy one of those variety packs, and I'm just going to make him one, and then I'm going to hide whatever's left over, and I will give it to him, like whatever is left in the package I will give to him on Christmas. Anyway, so that one's one for my husband, and then I have a tea one that I am doing with my mom. I also obviously have my yarn one, which I am extremely excited for. After I bought it, started following Polka Dot Creek on Instagram, and I am just obsessed with every single skein of yarn that I have seen them post. Every single one. There has not been a single one where I was like, ooh, I don't think that I would like that one. I like every single one of their skeins. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so I have that. And then as a super special surprise, which is just the sweetest thing, I have to show you guys. One of my knitting club friends, Tana, she made all of us these tea advents. So I know 2 tea advents, which is super exciting. That means that I get to drink, that I will be drinking at least 2 cups of tea every single day, which I'm sure my throat thanks me for. But these are just so sweet, and they're a little bit mixed up, so I will get to look through, like really search through all of them. And they have these super, super cute stickers that I assume she got on Amazon or Etsy or something, but they're just so cute. And the fact that she like went to all the trouble to make these for us is just incredible. I have the best friends. It's incredible. But yeah, that is everything for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this quite short, hopefully, maybe, episode. Please make sure to like the video, subscribe, comment down below, and I will see all of you in 2 weeks. Or less. Is it less? So I will see you all on December 2nd. I hope that you guys are looking forward to Vlogmas as much as I am looking forward to Vlogmas. Bye, everybody. Oh, we're so happy. She's like, Mom, you clapped. Mom, you clapped. That means we get to snuggle.